The Boxcar Children, Blue Bay Mystery, based on the book by Gertrude Warner. Let's take a look at the title and the picture and the book cover. What do you think the story is about? Well, I see the Audens, the Boxcar Children, and it says right here, the Audens are on a tropical adventure. The title is Blue Bay Mystery. So, bay. What is the word bay? Well, bay is another word for a broad inlet of the sea where the land curves inward. Okay, so it curves inward, and that is called bay. The Audens are on a tropical adventure. Tropical, what does the word tropical mean? Adventure is a journey, a trip, and tropical means it's typically in a place that's very hot and humid. Tropical. Grandfather had a secret. The Auden children could tell. Grandfather loved to plan things for his grandchildren. And Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny loved surprises. Henry, Jesse, Violet, and Benny. The children had once lived in a boxcar. It had been their home. They had many adventures in the boxcar. Then Grandfather found them. Now the children had a real home, but they still had plenty of adventures. One day, the children met a man named Lars. Lars was Grandfather's friend. He had an adventure of his own. Years ago, his boat got stuck on an island. Lars lived there for weeks. Then he was rescued. "You must have been scared," Benny said. Lars nodded. I was, but now I want to go back with friends." Grandfather told the children his surprise. They were all going to see the island. "What about school?" asked Violet. "You will learn along the way," he said. "I have planned it with your teachers." But no one, not even Grandfather, could plan for the biggest surprise. They flew to San Francisco. Then they got on a ship to the South Seas. It was a long trip. On the way, the children saw all kinds of new things. Then they read about them in books. "Boat school, it's fun," said Benny. At last, the ship reached the island. The water was the bluest the children had ever seen. "We should call this Blue Bay," said Benny. The children laughed. They all knew how Benny liked to name things. On shore, they're not in the water, were two huts. 1, 2. It was where Lars had stayed when he was on the island. The children made beds with palm leaves. They cooked over a fire on the beach. For cups, they used a big white seashells. So they used big white seashells for cups. It was almost like living in the boxcar again. In the morning, Jesse noticed something. A box of crackers was open. "Benny, did you eat a snack?" she asked. Everyone knew how much Benny liked to eat. But only Benny knew that he had not opened the crackers. In the afternoon, Lars led the children to a waterfall. The water was as clear as the air. Benny noticed a white seashell on a rock. "What a strange place for a seashell," he thought. "It looks like our cups." But Benny did not tell the others what he saw. So what do you think so far? Do you think someone has been eating their crackers and using their cups? At night, the children had fish stew. It's like a fish soup, but it's lots and lots of fish inside. Then from the dark, they heard a voice. "Hello, Peter," the voice said. It was not a voice the children knew. Do you think it's the parrot? A bird flew up. "Careful, Peter. It's hot," said the voice. "The bird," said Henry. "Someone has taught it to speak." "But who?" said Violet. At last, Benny spoke up. "There's a mystery here." The next day, the children explored. "This bay is good for swimming," said Lars. "The reef keeps it safe." The water was as green as Blue Bay was blue. "I know the perfect name," said Benny. "Is it Green Bay?" asked Jessie. "How did you know?" said Benny. The children laughed. They swam in the cool water. They almost forgot about the mystery until... Over here, Henry called. There was a little boat on the reef. "Explorer second," said Grandfather. "Explorer 2, said Grandfather. "That ship went down months ago." A young boy went missing. His parents have been looking for him. The Aldens looked at one another. Was there another person on the island? Do you think it's the missing boy from the ship? Days went by. The children did not find any more clues to their mystery, but they did learn many new things. Henry weaved a basket. Jessie made bowls from coconuts. Violet drew new plants. Benny caught new fish. The children were having so much fun, they thought they would never want to leave. One day, the children went back to the waterfall. Benny searched for the seashell that looked like a cup. The shell had moved. Then Henry called, "Over here." He had found a cave. Look. Inside was a bed and dishes. Someone was living on the island. Benny heard a noise in the treetops. One tree, then the next. Benny followed the sound. He ran and ran. He was so interested in the sound, he did not watch where he was going. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Whoosh! Benny slid down into a hole. He was stuck. Benny called out, but it was not Henry or Jessie or Violet who came to help. It was a young boy. His name was Peter. Peter told the Aldens his story. He was the missing boy from Explorer 2. He had lived alone on the island for months. He had been watching the Aldens. "You took our crackers," said Benny. Peter nodded, but he knew Benny was not upset. "Why didn't you say anything?" Grandfather asked. "I was afraid," said Peter. "Then I saw how nice you were." "Hello, Peter," a voice said. It was the little bird. The bird flew to Peter's arm. You taught her, didn't you? Said Jessie. Peter nodded. She kept me company, he said, but this place is much better with friends. Before long, the ship returned. The children said goodbye to Blue Bay. They loved the island, but they could not imagine living alone like Peter had. It was time to go home. On the ship, Grandfather was busy making a new plan. The children stayed with Peter. Peter ate and ate. I think I miss peanut butter most, he said. No, toast. Careful, Peter. It's hot, the bird said. Everyone laughed. It was not until they reached land that they saw what Grandfather was planning. What was Grandfather's plan? I see 2 other adults. Do you think it is Peter's parents? And Peter found what he really missed most. His parents. The end.